far too long, this world has put up with threats that have overstayed its unwelcome. This recent threat to New York has gone too far, coupled with disloyal agents going rogue has tainted the true meaning of a division agent. So in the midst of all the foolishness, a loyal group of individuals with a strategic mindset has come together to dead all that noise. We will revive the meaning and go forth with an unrelenting mentality. My name is 𝕯ivision from Identity, and I will show you a new breed of builds, group synergy. I introduce you to the 𝕯ivision Guardians. Welcome to my very first episode of the 𝕯ivision Guardians. I've been sitting on this idea of this video series for so long, but never released it. I figured that there's no better time than now to show you, because now the game is all about team play and synergy. For those who don't know me, my name is 𝕯ivision from Identity, and I've been curating builds from the moment I started my YouTube channel around 6 months ago. I love doing it so much that I decided to level up. But don't worry, my normal YouTube content will still be uploaded as usual, but Guardians is something new being added to my arsenal. So if this is content you're interested in, then please drop a like and don't hesitate to subscribe for more future content like this. So this series is designed to help you and I get through all levels of difficulty, from hard all the way to legendary missions in PvE, also PvP synergy builds, and raid group synergy builds. The first one you see now, Balance, is a PvE focused synergy for challenging and heroic missions. With all the obstacles many of you are facing playing the game, this synergy in a nutshell means balanced. All the elements from each individual build brings it together. Now these build descriptions are going to be done a bit different than my single build description videos. Here's how it'll all work. I'll briefly showcase each role individually and describe his or her role in the group while demonstrating its effectiveness. One of these roles will be called the MVP. This is the build I'll show you in detail. And if you want to see the others in detail, then comment below and tell me which one you're interested in seeing. Whichever one gets the most attention is the one I'll be posting in my next single build video. Now let's get into this. When it comes to group synergy builds, there must be roles agents have to adopt in order to be successful. All these roles need to complement each other. A tank, healer, DPS, engineer, scout, crowd control, and so many more. When you look at this synergy build, Balance, it has the perfect recipe. First up, we have crowd control, often referred to as CC. This one is charged with disposing of large groups of enemies, or just being an annoyance by using skills like the Chem Launcher variants, Fire, Foam, Oxidizer, or Firefly variants, Blinder, Demolisher, or Burster. Any skill that has a large radius or prevents enemies from doing what they normally do. This offsets them, which will then give your team the upper hand. The second role is the tank, which is actually a viable role this patch. With the shields being changed, makes this role more important than ever. The tank has the capability to provide protection to the whole team while still maintaining its effectiveness. He's also the one that draws mostly all of the aggro. NPCs tend to target the shield more than anything else. The team has to make sure he doesn't get shot in the back and also shoot the enemies that are shooting at his shield. Communication is essential in these type of builds, like who to team shoot or calling out flanks, but that can tend to get confusing if everyone is talking at once. So just make sure that you have someone that takes the leadership role and guides the team in conveying what needs to be done going forward. The third role in this group synergy build is the healer. Everyone's role is important, but this one in particular is special because the healer is in charge of keeping everyone alive, which is no easy task. There are many avenues you can go when it comes to healer builds, so many different talents to choose from that'll fit your playstyle, but ultimately achieve the same goal, keeping your team alive. The last and final role is the one I'll be showcasing and giving details about, the DPS. Now in this particular group, it's kind of debatable to say that this one is the MVP, because each one of these roles I've crafted a build for, but didn't want to make this video super long, so I just went with this one. With that being said, comment down below and tell me which of these builds you would like me to showcase for my next single build video. The one with the most votes I'll pick, and I'll also do a vote on my community chat. Anyways, let's get into the final build description so we can bring this thing full circle. Alright y'all, what's going on? This is the build I was talking about that I was going to showcase for the group synergy out of the 4. I think it's good enough to earn MVP, and you'll see as I start to discuss everything that it does. Every role in the group synergy build has to have like something that you can contribute to the group. For this one, I have the Coyote's mask, and I'm going to explain to you how this contributes to the group in a second. For my primary, I'm running an Urban MDR with Boomerang. What Boomerang does is that critical hits have a 50% chance to return the bullet to the magazine. If a bullet is returned to the magazine, the next shot has 40% increased damage. So it's essential that you have a good amount of crit chance, because if you have a lot of crit chance, then 50% of the time you're going to be doing 40% increased damage. And you can crit to the head and the body, it doesn't matter. So increased headshot damage is a plus as well. And I don't know if you remember the video I came out with last week, the 5 advanced combat tactics you need to know for TU8. The 5th one was that the Urban MDR rifle does 35% headshot damage than all the other rifles. So it'll be good to use this gun, you know what I mean? The next weapon. I was a little skeptical about this, and I still am kind of, but I really love the concept of this. Previously in one of my videos I said that it's bad, but I was, quick to judge. I didn't even have the weapon. I just didn't like how they had this really cool scope on it, and it didn't really do anything in regards to the weapon. But I started reading it, and this is really good, especially for PvE. This weapon has something called adaptive instincts, where you get a bonus for hitting them in each part of their body. So hitting them in the head 30 times increases your crit chance by 20% and crit damage by 20% for 45 seconds. Hitting them in the body 60 times grants 80% weapon damage. That's a lot, 80%, which is why this weapon usually rolls low in damage. So this is only at 60k, but once you get 80% weapon damage, that's a lot. So I usually hit them in the body, and then hitting 30 leg shots grants 150 reload speed for 45 seconds. And I don't really care for that much, but this is a good talent paired up with the Coyote mask. For the build, first piece, using the Coyote mask, everybody can get this mask. All you have to do is level up to 35 in your season levels. Once you get to level 35, you'll get this mask. Now, I see why this is an exotic, really. The talent is called Pack Instincts. You and all allies gain a bonus based on the distance of the last enemy hit. Not killed, hit. It's crazy. And I want to tell you something. This stacks. So let's say I'm wearing this, and this is a rifle build / AR, but for the most part, I'm going to be at a distance. So the bonus I'm going to be inflicting is mainly going to be 25% critical hit chance. I'm going to give everybody in the group, including me, 25% critical hit chance on top of what I already have. And then when you hit somebody from between 15 to 25 meters away, you gain 10% crit chance, 10% crit damage, and from 0 meters to 15 meters, 25% crit damage. Now let's say somebody's close who has the mask, they're inflicting this bonus. Somebody's mid-range, they're inflicting this bonus, and I'm long range and I'm inflicting this bonus. This stacks, and it works when everybody's shooting. This is why it's so perfect for a group synergy build, and this is the essential piece that the DPS role needs to help the group. Now the reason I said I'm going to be from a distance is because the mods I have on this Urban MDR are the digital scope, and this is the scope that's exclusive for the sharpshooter specialization, which gives you a whopping 45% headshot damage. And I don't know what they did to this. I think they changed this a little bit. I think they tweaked this a little bit for the patch, because it feels a lot more responsive when I'm shooting. Doesn't feel like it's too much of a distance. But this is the scope that you want to run with this, or another one that gives you headshot damage, because you're going to be at a distance with this build. You don't want to be close up. You just want to be inflicting as much damage as you can while staying behind cover and not taking any damage, because this is what this build is based upon. I have the Sacrifice. This used to be a backpack in TU6, but now it's a chest piece by Providence. And it's a named chest piece with a talent called Perfect Glass Cannon. All damage you deal is amplified by 30%. All damage you take is amplified by 60%. Now that, you don't want to get hit with this. And if you do, if you're crafty and shifty, you can survive. But the damage you inflict on this is amazing, right? Now Providence gives you 10% headshot damage and 10% critical hit chance. So this is kind of like a crit headshot build, and you'll see more and more as I explain the build. Second piece is a Providence holster. Now this build, I didn't have enough materials. I've been really busy and as much as I recalibrate, I do not have enough materials to keep up when I'm trying to put up my build videos. But I will describe to you what needs to be done on each piece. On this holster, you want to roll critical hit damage. So I'm going to show you the stat sheet in a minute, but I'm kind of low on the critical hit damage side of things, but critical hit chance is pretty cool. So if you stack critical hit damage, all it's going to do is increase your crits damage output. Oh yeah, by the way, for each one of these mods, I have critical hit chance, about 15 to 16% critical hit chance. Backpack is Fenris, and this is for the AR damage for the chameleon. Okay, vigilance. As you know, guys, vigilance is a favorite of mine. It's a favorite of mine when it comes to rifle builds and builds where you want to sit back and zone enemies. You gain an increased weapon damage of 25% when you don't take damage. Now this is perfect for when you're sitting back, especially with glass cannon. So from glass cannon and this, I'm getting 55% extra damage and 30% if I take damage. Plus the damage stacking with boomerang and the coyote's mask. You can only imagine, right? Now, I was farming for perfect vigilance, but all perfect vigilance does is gives you a cooldown of 3 seconds instead of 4. It doesn't increase the damage, so you can go without it. You don't really need it. To increase the crit, I decided to go with the Seska Viroba. This is one of the new brand sets, and for the one piece, it gives you 10% crit chance. Now that's pretty substantial for a one piece, right? And it's also unrolled. And I'm thinking about rolling critical hit damage as well. Remember, the crit damage just increases and amplifies how much damage your critical hits do. But the knee pads, I finally got my Fox's Prayer knee pads last night. Shout out to XL for dropping them for me. Shout out for XL for dropping the glass cannon for me as well. So he's kind of like my lucky charm. But anyway, the Fox's Prayer, I love these knee pads. They were great last patch. They're great this patch. It gives you 15% damage to targets out of cover. Now that's straight up raw weapon damage, right? And most of the time everybody's out of cover. This paired with glass cannon, with vigilance, with the damage stacking from boomerang, it is crazy. So all you're doing for this build is dishing out damage. That's your role in this group, and all the while you're helping everybody else with the coyote's mask, increasing their crit. This is also unrolled, so I'm going to roll crit damage on here. I have a significant amount of weapon damage, so I don't really think another 4.4 weapon damage is going to help me out as much as crit damage. And remember, my first build for this patch was called Keener's Fate, and I said that I wanted to put Fox's Prayer in those knee pad slot. Now I can't. Now I have 0 skill tier. I'm running the fixture drone, and it does a little bit. It heals me up a little bit. It's pretty good. So I won't say it does nothing, but it's definitely not going to do as good as a build that has more skill tier. So I'm just running the drone, fixture drone, and the reviver hive. That's it in case I go down. Nothing special about it. Here's my stat sheet if you wanted to see it. If you notice, my critical hit chance is at 51%. Now, you know what I might actually do? Since I'm running the coyote's mask and I'm going to be at a distance most of the time, instead of putting critical hit chance mods in my gear, I should replace it with critical hit damage, right? Because you can get 10 to 12% critical hit damage mods in your gear. So if I do that, I could possibly get up to around 100%, plus the rolls that I get on my gear. Yeah, so I might do that actually. Headshot damage is at nice 174%. So when I get those headshot crits, the damage is increased even more. But yeah, this is the stat sheet, y'all. That'll do it for this group synergy build called Balance. One of many that I'll be releasing. And for this first one, I just wanted to do something many of you can relate to and that are familiar with: tank, healer, DPS, and CC. But trust me when I say the 𝕯ivision Guardians will be builds that cover all types of playstyles, not just what you saw here. There will be compositions with engineers, scouts, hybrids, etc. The combinations will be endless, and I can't wait to show you in the future. If you enjoyed this type of build video and you want to see more, then let me know down in the comments. Also, drop a like if you haven't already, and don't hesitate to subscribe if you're new. Until I see you on my next video, be right out.